Hello, folks. You wouldn't believe how many times it's taken me to get this started and correct today. A simple thing like starting the timer, something which I've started to do every, 5 days a week? Every week now. But today I was all fingers and thumbs and it just caused me a bit of a problem. So I've just finished. Oh, it's a relief to know that I'm not going to have to spend hours in the hotbox for a while because, of course, I'm steering away from audiobooks a little bit more now. When I can find some way to keep it cooler, or get a different booth or whatever it is, then I'll probably move back a little bit more to doing some more audiobooks. But the ones I do later on, I think they'll be sort of for Amazon, so that you can find them on Amazon. At the moment, I've only ever done one for Audible. I'll link it in the description. You can find it, but that's the only one I've done for Amazon so far. Most of the audiobooks I've done, at least, I do other voiceover work as well, but most of the audiobooks I've done have been for one client. And accessible media, they've been accessible media audiobooks, which causes a little bit of confusion. People are always sort of wondering where they can find my audiobooks, and they'll go on Amazon thinking, oh he's done the audiobook for this, and it's not always the case. Whenever there's an audiobook recorded of any book, particularly a very well-known book, or one that's got an awfully large readership, there are several versions made, and my main client is a Swedish company that make accessible media books for people with reading difficulties. They might be dyslexic or blind, or for whatever reason they find it really, really difficult to read. And so they need these accessible media versions. So unlike most audiobooks, which, I read out, indices and like titles and occasionally page numbers and all the information at the end of the book, about the publisher and all that you don't normally have to record in an audiobook, I have to do those because they're accessible media books. But one of the great things about this is you discover books that you probably wouldn't ordinarily have read. And this one's been really great. There are even some lessons in there, I think, for my own life. I think things that I could do with paying a little bit more heed to. But it's been a fun book. It's How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. It's currently being adapted into a film starring Benedict Cumberbatch, which makes it a little bit difficult when you're recording things. To keep all the characters straight in your head, when I record stuff, I cast an audiobook so that I know that when I come to that character, that's the voice that I have to do. It's not an impression, so the voices aren't anything like that actual person, but they're the voice that I do when I think of that person, and it helps keep it straight in your head a little bit, the difference is the protagonist, because particularly if it's told from the main character's perspective, you really, really have to, if you put on a voice, you then have to maintain that through the entire length of the novel. So I usually use my own voice for those, but I'll tell you what, I'll put a little excerpt of it in here. Now, I'm just taking a look at the timer so that I know when that'll stop, but I'll put an excerpt in here now.
I remember staring out at the Antarctic Ocean from the deck of the Adventure, caught up in Cook's foolish, greedy quest for a land larger than Australia. There comes a moment in every life when we realise there is no land beyond the ice. There is just more ice, and then the world we know continues again. You sometimes have to look at what you know is there and discover the things right in front of you, the people you love. I think of Camille. I think of her voice. I think of her head tilting up to the sun. I think of the fear as she fell off her chair. I suddenly realise it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we age differently. It doesn't matter that there is no way of resisting the laws of time. The time ahead of you is like the land beyond the ice. You can guess what it could be like, but you can never know. All you know is the moment you are in.
So there you go. That was a bit of fun, maybe. Probably not, really. But nowhere near as good as Benedict Cumberbatch's version, and will be, I'm absolutely certain. But the tile that I'll probably put in there, that's just the default tile that I use for all my audiobooks, so don't bother following that. It says thespeakingman.com at the bottom if you are thinking of going to my website, because I'm in the process of switching my web host, so at the moment it's not there. So that's about all I've got to say for today, really, because she's running out. But you can find my other audiobooks, but you can only find excerpts unless you're a Scandinavian student, but I'll link it anyway.